think will help you. I want to start out with a semi-success story. One of the most unpleasant things about being in HR is dismissals. That is, I don't care how many of them you have to go through. I've been through many. And the last one was no more pleasant or no more enjoyable than the first one. It was a horrible thing we had to go through. A few years ago, we had to dismiss. I retired in Southwestern Bell. I was area manager of human resources and had as primary HR contact to, at times, up to 2,200 employees. So we had to dismiss an employee because of attendance and performance. It's been a couple of years since his dismissal, but I was walking through a store in North Little Rock at the time, which is where we lived. Rounded the corner and came face to face with this employee that we had dismissed a couple of years ago. And he said, "Greg Gilbert, I've been thinking about you." And my thought was there an explosive device or a firearm anywhere around? You weren't cleaning your gun, were you, when you were thinking about me? But he stuck his hand out and said, "I've been meaning to call you." He said, "I want to thank you for your involvement in my dismissal." Now, if I had a nickel for every time I've heard that, I'd have a nickel. That's all. Well, he said, I want to share with you. He said, "It was my fault. I had a drinking problem." He said, "I was a drunk." He said, "It's not your fault. It's not my boss's fault. It's not my boss's fault. It was my fault." He said, "But I'm happy to say haven't had a drink in nearly 2 years. I've got a new job. It's not as good a one as I have there, but I'm a better person." I said, I want to thank you." So we talked about a few other things. And, I was still in shock, I guess, but that's the good news. I guess this was a happy ending story. The thing I want to share with you about writing things down, approximately 10 months prior to this employee's dismissal, a new supervisor took over his crew. Well, this new supervisor did what a new supervisor is supposed to do. He concentrated on the development of people and managing. I don't like the term, as you'll see on my card, I don't like managing people. I like managing results. This manager came in there and started managing results. He had a couple of problem employees, this being one of them. He started the process. Here's where you are. Here's where I need you to be. Here's what will occur if you're not there. And he started the process, and 10 months later, this employee had stepped through all steps of our discipline process and was terminated. He didn't turn the performance problem around. The shame of that is, I look back at this employee's record 2 years prior to that new supervisor arriving in that crew. This performance problem arose. You could see it first in attendance, but the former supervisor didn't do anything about it. He didn't write anything down. He was retired in place. He wasn't doing his job. And if he's not doing his job, then whoever his manager is not doing their job. Agree? And I'm an HR person just like you are. I love data. I don't like to, play what-if games and things like that. But I couldn't help but thinking, what if his former manager, when the problem surfaced, had started the process and said, "This is unacceptable. Here's where you are. Here's where I need you to be. This is what will occur if you're not there." Could we have salvaged that employee's career? Made some changes in his life? I don't know. But nothing changed because nothing was written. I'm going to share quite a few stories with you today, personal stories, and just things like that. And I want you to think about that as we go through this. One of the first things I'd like to, number 97, I'll just throw some numbers out here. This is number 97, integrity. In 1989, when I took over that HR job, one of my predecessors said these words to me, and it was these exact words. "Greg, you can work on an employee's quality, safety, and attendance, but you cannot instill honesty and integrity in a person. You can't do it." He said, "You're not good enough, you're not lucky enough to catch a thief the first time he stole it from you. And until he changes right here, he'll steal from you again." Now, friends, truer words have never been spoken to me. I've never forgotten that, and I saw that time after time after time on second chances that we gave people on integrity issues. Either you have it or you don't. A friend of mine called me a couple of months ago, and he just said, "Hey, we'll catch you off guard. If you had to pick one trait for a leader in an organization, what would that trait be?" I didn't blink an eye, didn't think, didn't hesitate. It was integrity. And with everything that's going on in the world and all the things we see with companies and things like that, integrity still remains one of the most important traits that we can have, especially those of us that are in human resources. I had a friend, we were discussing something not long ago, and at the end of the dialogue, he said, well, you're more honest about that than I am. And I drove down the road, about 10 miles. I guess I'm kind of slow. It took 10 miles for it to hit me. I thought, you can't put the word more in front of honest. Either you're honest or you're not. You know, you can put an "er" on fast, smart, quick, slow. You can be faster, smarter, quicker, slower. But you can't be honest or correct. Either you are or you're not. It's a very important trait, especially in human resources. Now I'd like to share